As jobs start to trickle back for Americans, you'd probably be pretty shocked to know that almost all of them are going to men. A new report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows 90% of new jobs created in the last 12 months have gone to men. Here's the math on that. Nearly 1.2 million jobs for men and 130,000 for women. Is this just a numbers game, or is there a cultural bias going on as well? Deb Magnuson from Career Partners International is helping us dig a little bit deeper into this topic tonight. So, Deb, these stats are staggering. I mean, when I first heard 90%, I was really shocked. It seems like a huge gap that is going to raise a lot of eyebrows here. What's going on?
Yeah, what we're seeing, Heidi, is that this recession continues to be a complex and confusing story, as it has been for so many people, as well as a really painful story. And this one is about how the recovery is impacting who's getting the new jobs and where are jobs being created. Many of us probably remember the image of the shovel-ready jobs that were talked about with the Obama administration's job creation programs. Well, who works shovels? Men do. So a lot of the jobs created, certainly by some of the work programs by the government, those were men's jobs, construction jobs. Unfortunately not home construction, but as far as like roads and streets and you know, big works projects like that, those are men's jobs.
Okay, understandable, I guess, on that note anyway. But I want you to look at this quote with me, if you would.
Yeah.
A professor at Yale, he points out some of the biases that are really taking place in the workplace. She says women undertake more family work than men do, and despite laws, people won't hire women for jobs that require long hours or travel. Really? Is that valid?
Unfortunately, I believe there is some validity to that. One of the things that we've seen happen in this recession is that employers and managers have tended to hunker down and go back to the basics. And in many cases, you know, for people in that age group, going back to the basics was stuff that they did in the 80s.
Yeah, it's so interesting, though, because I even have a husband who is a stay-at-home dad. I have several friends who have stay-at-home dads. So it's interesting for me personally to see some of these numbers and certainly the thinking behind them. Some are going to point to history too, I think, saying when jobs are tough to come by, employers seem to favor men because they feel it's the men who support their families. Is that factor still playing in today?
Well, unfortunately, more and more that's a myth rather than the reality, because, for example, 25% of American children under age 18 are in single-parent households, almost entirely women, and you know, women's paychecks are a greater and greater share of a dual-income family's income. So it becomes really a concern for people as their incomes get cut, because when women are hurt, families get hurt. That's been shown again and again.
In fact, talking about salaries, women's salaries make up a very important part of a family's budget. In many cases, they are the breadwinners, as we were just talking about.
Absolutely.
So what does this 90% report, what does it mean for women and their families moving forward?
Well, I hope it's a blip, that that this is just an aberration in the recovery. However, one of the aspects that could have a long-lived impact here is the fact that local and state government jobs are majority women, and those jobs are really under fire across the nation and here in the state of Minnesota. So women are definitely, that's going to be not just a short-term trend. I think that's going to be an ongoing trend as we tighten state and national budgets.
All right. Well, Deb Magnuson, we think you're great and we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Great to be with you again.